Welcome to episode 10 of What's It Like. We're officially more than halfway through the NFL season, halfway through season 1 of Garrett's football show. And I took a little week off, and I probably turned out to be one of the busiest weeks so far for one of my favorite teams. I'm just going to let you guys know right now, this is still Garrett's football show. We're still going to cover a little bit of the wide-ranging NFL, but you guys are about to see however many minutes of straight Indianapolis Colts talk. This is what this is about to be. And, I'm so used to not doing intros. The second official friend of the show, Aaron, is back.
What up? How we doing?
Came on again. You had one of, as far as like my takes when I was looking through the show, on my shows, you had a lot of right takes.
Unfortunately.
You called the Steelers beating the Broncos as that game.
That was a good take.
You called the Colts. I remember us kind of debating on what was the problem with the Colts, and I was saying Matt Ryan, and you were saying the coach, and that's we're gonna get in.
Kind of played his way out on that one too, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I called Steelers over the Bucks.
You did, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was one more. I think I said
there was something else.
I think I said the Colts would beat Denver.
And the way you called that game was actually, it was close to how it happened.
I said it was going to be a very low-scoring game.
Yeah. Probably a little bit more low-scoring than anyone could have predicted. But yeah. So let's get a couple more good predictions. You know, it's the second half of the season. I want some good half predictions. I'm going to try to start making better predictions. I've had a few that have been right. A lot of that have been wrong.
Right.
But like I said, straight into the Colts. That's let's just get to it. So the last 3 weeks, we've pretty much emptied out our team, and whoever you thought the problem of the Colts, the problem with the Colts is gone, and now maybe even a couple people who want the problem. Mm-hmm. So offensive coordinator Marcus Brady is gone, Matt Ryan is gone, Neiman Hines gone, arguably our second best running back. This week Frank Reich is gone, the biggest one of them all, and now our new head coach is Jeff Saturday. Our new quarterback is Sam Ehlinger, and the Colts are, dysfunctional.
For sure.
Dysfunctional. And with everything that's been going on with the Colts right now, there's a million ways you can go into it. You can make a joke. You can talk seriously about it. You can say what this means for coaching in the NFL and people who are getting opportunities at coaching, whether it be coaches of color or whether it be just any coach who's put in experience. You can talk about Irsay maybe just running the team 100% by himself. I want to start with just really quickly Sam Ehlinger. I'm going to just say he played 2 games. The first game, he didn't play that bad. The second game, he had 4 people rushing him and getting to him. So what is he supposed to do? Mm-hmm. At the same time, I have heard someone said to me, Camby mentioned to me that still you got to play better. So I respect that. How do you feel about Sam Ehlinger in his 2 games so far, playing on probably one of the most dysfunctional teams in the NFL at the moment?
I don't feel like there's much to judge on Sam because there's just not much to see as of right now. Honestly, if you've been watching the Colts all season, the offensive line is terrible. It's by far the offensive line is terrible. The play calling was lethargic, and it still is lethargic. This is why we're the second lowest scoring team in the league.
Didn't know that.
You can't. It's hard to judge anything as of right now, which is why you probably brung in Jeff to be the interim head coach. He's not technically the head coach right now. The interim head coach, so he can go over things with the offensive line. He can try to fix up and tool it in a way that he sees fit. He did play 12 years. He went to 6 Pro Bowls. Was with a lot of different, great
players. Mm-hmm. So that's that experience,
right? Jeff understands how to play the game. He understands how to play it the right way. If you've been a Colts fan for 10, 15 plus years, then you understand that Jeff Saturday knows what it means to win as a Colt. So he gets it, but it's still just all a process. You're not going to see much from Sam as of right now because that offensive line is atrocious. It's atrocious.
I mean, I just think seeing with Jeff Saturday, of course he has a lot of experience. But even just That's why it's so many ways to look at this, but I guess the first way I started off with, I think the Colts as an organization right now is probably the most dysfunctional it's been in the last decade.
Ever.
And then second, on top of that, I think hiring Jeff Saturday wasn't like we're hiring him because he had a lot of experience. I think this was like not a split decision, but kind of a split decision. And I think if anything shows that it was a split decision, it was the press conference on Monday.
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely a split decision. But with that being said, over the course of the years, over the course of the last 5 years, Irsay has stayed out of the decision making. So for the most part, he's kind of allowed Ballard and Reich at the time to predicate how the team was going to go. And they've kind of moved it.
Weren't there arguments that Frank Reich wanted Carson Wentz another year? Like,
no, Frank definitely wanted Carson Wentz.
Yeah, like
so, like that was a thing. Frank wanted Carson Wentz.
Like, I think Irsay's I think that's the biggest problem with this team right now is how involved Irsay is.
I would, I think, that's a good argument. I can't really argue either side because we don't definitively know. I feel like Irsay wasn't very involved, and now he's getting involved. But that's not. I don't know that for sure. No, I don't know that for sure. What I would say is now he's for sure like he's got his hands in it now.
1,000%.
But it's
it's
one. Just the decision making that he is making is because over the course of the last couple of years, the raw bad decisions that have come back to bite the Colts haven't been his decisions. Carson Wentz wasn't his decision.
Okay.
It was his decision to get rid of him, though.
Yes.
I don't think Matt Ryan was his decision.
Now, okay. You don't think? Okay, I agree with that. Matt Ryan probably wasn't his decision.
Right. So it's just like you look over that stuff over the years, and then Chris Ballard. I've said it to you before. Chris Ballard likes to draft guys. He doesn't like to sign in the free agency. So there were probably a lot of different guys that Jim Irsay has wanted over the course of a couple of years. That Chris Ballard was like, no, we can just draft at that position. We'll get them young, and we'll get them. And for the most part, it's worked for us. But one can question had what those free agents would have worked as well. Where would we be right now? So it's just like, I mean, on one hand, Jim is being a control freak. On the other hand, man, this situation needs to be controlled. So it's just fair.
Yeah. Something needs to change.
Right.
Now, and Irsay's changing it. And I'm just going to look at the facts of what he's changed. And everything I'm about to say, I would say these are 90% Irsay decisions and Chris Ballard probably being like, okay, I'm going to shut up and just take a back seat. All right. His decision to fire our offensive coordinator.
Brady? Probably.
Okay. His decision to fire Frank Reich.
Yes.
His decision to take out Matt Ryan. And after Matt Ryan, not put in Nick Foles, put in specifically Sam Ehlinger. I'm saying that's 9.
We keep skipping over a step because it's not just you. A lot of people are doing this. Matt Ryan got hurt
for 1 week.
No. He had a shoulder sprain. That's a 4-week injury. So
okay.
Matt Ryan is hurt. But
okay.
Jim Irsay said in an interview. He said this in an interview with Jeff Saturday. He said that when Matt Ryan comes back, it's going to be an open QB competition. It's not just Sam Ehlinger's job. That was a comment that was made by Frank Reich. Frank is fired. So it's supposed to be up in the air with Matt Ryan. So just clarification. He said that in the interview with Jeff Saturday. He said there's going to be an open. Jim Irsay said that. So that everything else, yes, is on Jim. That last decision to start Sam Ehlinger solely was a Frank Reich and Chris Ballard decision.
Okay. Fair. Now with those decisions, we well, let me just go and say something from the press conference that I got from Irsay that was big is that I think that his main thing is winning. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's wins and losses. Everybody's good. Frank Reich did great. Matt Ryan did great. But at the end of the day, we need to win.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think by win, he means win this season. I don't think the Colts are the type of team that wants to tank depending on our person.
Every single year, we feel like we got a chance every year.
Okay. Do you think the decisions that he's made to completely clean house, not a third of the way of the season in, not 3/4 of the way, dab halfway when we, as you said, are right on the bubble. Right. Do you think it would have just been better? Let me not even get into that. Do you think his decisions are of a type that will get us to winning? And basically what I'm asking is, just scrapping it all out in the middle of the season and just saying, let's just do some new shit right now.
Right.
Is that what's going to help us get into the playoffs? Is that what's going to help us win the division?
So it's funny. The beauty is we're on a podcast, so we can just be as honest as possible. I think that I think that Jim was scared that Frank would figure out a way to start winning games. The reality is we are 3-5-1. At 3-5-1, any competent front office, head coach, just anyone of competency would think, okay, let's get a top 10 draft pick. Let's get better for next year. We're 9 games through. We've only won 3. We ain't got to figure it out. Frank Reich is the type to randomly figure it out late and start winning games, and then we'd be 8-8. That is the worst position in football, is to be in the middle of the pack. If you are in the middle, this means we cannot get better. we didn't reach the playoffs, so we weren't top echelon, and we're also not low enough to really get better with a top 10 pick, like somebody who's supposed to be wearing a gold jacket. Top 10 pick in the draft means you're supposed to go to the Hall of Fame. Like, essentially. Fair. Now, whatever your career turns out to be is what it is. But if you draft a top 10 guy, essentially before he even plays, we're thinking he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. So it would not make sense at 3-5-1 to let Frank figure it out. Now, granted, we've never I'm 28, over the course of the years that I've watched the Colts play, which I've probably been watching since I was 5-6 years old. We've never fired a coach mid-season. Like, that's just something that, it's not that it doesn't happen, but
it's not Colts football. It's not our culture.
Well, you just don't want a culture or organization. You don't want that, because you're going to have players that are going to have to make decisions in terms of signing and staying, and you don't want them to leave, basically.
And you, just to throw it in there, the entire coaching staff is also,
because you kept the whole coaching staff is still here. You just fired one guy, but it happens to be the guy.
Exactly.
But I think that the reasoning of that is because Jim was scared that at 3-5-1, Frank Wright was going to figure out a way for us to go 8-8, 8-1. Like, we were going to be 8-1. It just, like, really just think about it. Over the years, we've always started off slow and then we figured it out late. Why would we do that at 3-5-1? Like,
so you're saying that we kind of are tanking. It's just a quiet secret tank. We're gonna put it on. We're gonna put it on to the entire Indianapolis, the NFL world. We are here to win. Jeff Saturday is here to win, but we're really here to get a good draft pick and make Jeff Saturday be interesting and get us into some talks and look. You don't. Or am I going too far?
No, you don't trade Nyheim Hines for a 5th, 6th round pick unless you're tanking. It's. I mean, just we call it what it is.
The big question I wanted to know. They've the Colts tanking?
Yeah, I believe they are. They brought in Jeff Saturday. Jeff has a great amount of energy to him. He understands the game. Like, of course, it can help in general, but I don't think the intent is to win football games anymore. The intent is to position yourself for the future. This team, you have Jonathan Taylor. You have Michael Pittman Jr. You have
Alec Pierce. We have the tight end.
You got the tight end. Don't name any of the linemen. We don't know if any of them will be here anymore. And then defensively, you got studs on defense. Yeah. You got Darius. You got DeForest. Yeah. We got good young safeties. You have good players.
The roster is good.
The roster is good. The problem is, it's the direction that we don't have good players at certain positions. So when we need it late in games and we're playing teams that have those good players at certain positions, we tend to lose those games.
Okay.
You have to, the quarterback, defensive end, corner, receiver, those have to be the get guys there. Yeah. You have to.
So now, since we're tanking and we've done a whole flip and we need to switch things, I guess, do I want to get into this conversation first or the Jeff Saturday conversation first? We're going to swing back to the Jeff Saturday conversation and get into all that. Not all, but what's in that. We're only at 14 minutes, so I think we're doing good here. Right. Let me ask, now that we're tanking, do you think what the pieces that we have in the roster being good, is this a full rebuild, or is this just we're going to have a bad half of the season, this last half of the season, and next year, the next 2 years, we're going to be right back getting the AFC Championship?
So,
because when I hear tanking, I want to know, are we tanking for 4 or 5 years, or are we tanking for 2 or 3 years? There's a difference to me.
I don't think it's. So when you say full rebuild, I think that means you called the mechanic and he said you need a whole new car.
Yeah,
I don't think we need a whole new car. I think the transmission's out. You need a new transmission. You need to switch. You need to swap some things out. You might need to move some guys. You need to bring some guys in. You just need. It's like you need
you got to put the right pieces in the right places.
A little epiphany. You need a revamp. It's not It's we have solid. You have solid talent on this team that is still young. The sky is not
rookie talent.
The sky's not falling. It's not falling. You got to change some things around. It was time for Frank. Okay. Ultimately, it was time.
All right. And I agree with that 100%. I think so. To answer that, 2 or 3 years.
It depends on how you draft and how things come out.
But it's possible.
This is an NFL podcast. Just a little college background. There are a lot of good quarterbacks coming out of this draft. Bryce Young from Alabama, C.J. Stroud from Ohio State. Then you got Henry Hooker at Tennessee. Will Levis from Kentucky. I like Anthony Richardson from Florida. Max Dugans at TCU.
How many? Because you're naming a lot of quarterbacks. How many of these are franchise ready? I want a franchise ready one. I don't want to play.
With the quarterback position, you gotta groom and you gotta come into it. The quarterback position is like a plant. If you don't water it the right way, you don't take care of it the right way, then he's not gonna come in the right way. Some plants are different than other plants.
What plant is a little bit full grown is going to need a little bit less of my attention
you want to see
out of those quarterbacks.
You want to see J. Stroud. You want to see J. Stroud.
Which one of those is the cactus?
I got to see more on Bryce. Bryce scares me a bit just because I think he plays around a lot of talent, and at times when he plays big talent, he doesn't play well. I haven't seen that from CJ.
And I want a quarterback that is. When everything's not going perfectly,
right?
He extends plays.
CJ's an improviser.
Okay.
CJ's an improviser. I like CJ.
That's the Ohio State quarterback.
There are other guys. I like Henry Hooker, but that's gonna be we gotta water that. We gotta take care of that. Like we gotta teach him the game. Anthony Richardson from Florida. I really, really like him. Well, once again, those aren't finished projects. CJ, on the other hand, isn't a finished project. But it's almost done.
Half of it before
it's in the crock pot. He been cooking. CJ's very good.
Oh, you got to chop it up and get it ready.
Bryce is probably the best quarterback that's ever played at Alabama. But the thing is, it's just in big moments he doesn't tend to play great.
Oh,
that's the only thing. He's lost a national championship in bigger games for Alabama. When he's been at the helm, they have lost games. With it being said, we'll see. They've lost 2 games this year and they're not going to playoffs. So, we'll see. He might come back next year. He might just be in the draft. But it's just that's my only thing about Bryce. He tends to kind of fizzle out when the big moment comes.
Tight. I know very little about college football and college football quarterbacks. Yeah. From what you just said and described to me, I want C.J. Stroud.
See, that's nice. Yeah. Plays at Ohio State too. Area
Yeah,
people love area kids because what I mean. They played in the Big Ten, just in the area. It would be perfect. CJ's probably gonna be the second pick in the draft, so you're probably gonna have to lose a lot more games. But
and just from the conversation, and I think we both agree on this. We're drafting a quarterback next.
I would hope so.
Okay,
I would hope so.
I'd hope so. As well.
If we were to trade a couple first-round picks over to Chicago for Justin Fields, I would be mad.
I wouldn't be mad at that either.
I wouldn't hate that. I would hope we're drafting a quarterback. If it's Justin Fields, I'm fine.
Justin Fields behind that O-line would be disgusting.
I'm fine with Justin Fields.
But Justin line behind that O-line would be disgusting.
Well, they got to fix it up a little bit. But Justin Fields is a lot more mobile. Mm-hmm. So with that,
he can figure it out more.
I think that's what we're seeing from Sam now. He's a little more mobile, so he has naturally a little more time to figure out some things. He's still getting hit because the O-line is atrocious. But that was the problem with Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan feet is stuck into the ground. He is looking for an open receiver and to throw it. Sam will move and throw it. He just doesn't have his arm like Matt Ryan. So it's just
When you say arm, you talk about as far as accuracy, as far as strength, as far as
Matt Ryan has like a top 50 arm of all time. Like there are superior quarterbacks. Matt Ryan was drafted number 1 in the draft for a reason out of Boston College. He can put the ball wherever he wants to. Yes, he is older now, but when he first came out, like Sam Ehlinger, it's his second year in the league. When Matt first second year in the league, he was starting. Like, because Matt was just a superior quarterback. You want to find the happy middle. Sam is mobile and Matt can throw it. We gotta go get one of them young fellas that can do both. Like, you feel me? That's what the league is becoming. Patrick Mahomes. Why is Patrick so good? Because he can throw wherever, but Patrick is also mobile. He can move around and do that.
As I'm hearing you speak, so because this is definitely something that I thought was the problem from the first episode of Garrett's football show with the Colts is we don't have stability at quarterback.
No.
So you think Frank Reich this? I don't even want to ask a question. I'm just gonna say we on
the podcast. Let's hear it.
If we had a stable quarterback, if we had a Justin Fields, if we had one of these younger quarterbacks, I can't think. Let's just say Justin Herbert, shooting for the stars, because Justin Herbert, I think, is in a situation that's not the best. Mm-hmm. You think if we have Justin Herbert on our team, exact same team, you think people say Frank Reich is a problem? And the only reason I say that is because why I do think Frank Reich did not give the team energy. Mm-hmm. This is a lot of things I've been hearing people say to me. The team looked dull. They weren't ready to play. This is something you said. Yeah. Lethargic. Do you think, all that being said, I still think he's a good coach. You think if we had a better quarterback, we'd be in this position this season? Frank Reich was going to turn us down no matter what.
If we had a better quarterback, we'd win more games. But when we got to the higher stages, we would fall short, and we would always think it was the quarterback. But the reality would be it's lethargic play calling. Okay,
and that's not a team that you want, and that's not a... Okay, so question answered. Now I want to get into Jeff Saturday. And I'll say, again, I don't know if I said this, but... The Colts being dysfunctional at the moment, I still believe, and I think the press conference on Monday showed that. But that being said, it's Thursday when we're recording this. Yesterday and Tuesday, hearing Jeff Saturday talking stuff has made me think we are a little bit less dysfunctional, and it's made me like Jeff Saturday more. And I'll say, with everything that's swirling around with just how big it is of the Colts hiring Jeff Saturday, a coach with no college or NFL experience, I think Jeff Saturday's in the hard position. Because I'll say this is what I got from him watching the press conference and watching everything he said since it was announced on Monday. Mm-hmm. He is just someone that's taking opportunity as the perfect job. Mm-hmm. He doesn't think he's the best coach. I think he's just as surprised as everybody else that he got that call. Absolutely. But it's like I got called to be the coach of the team I played for and won a Super Bowl for and played in front of one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Hell yeah, I'm going to take it. I think he is a great person. I think he knows a lot about football. I think he will do the best job that someone in that position could do without being a coach, without having any coaching experience. I think Jeff Saturday is honestly an honest person, a knowledgeable football person. I'm saying all this because there's a but coming. But I really like Jeff Saturday, and if anybody was going to get the opportunity to be the coach of the Colts with absolutely no experience, I would probably want it to be Jeff Saturday. But, and exactly, it is, I agree with that, too. I wouldn't argue with it. But just how Jeff Saturday seems, the experience that you talked to earlier in the show about how good he is knowing what it takes to play good, especially as an O-lineman, knowing what it takes to play good. I think he's going to be able to tap in with the players because he was in that locker room. Like, he has all that, but here's the but. He doesn't deserve that job. That's just, to me, the way it shakes out at the end of the day, even if we were picking just from people in the building, he may not deserve that job.
Right.
So... And now we've gotten into that we're tanking. So the fact that we're tanking, if we tank and we do bad, he's not going to be the coach next year. So can I even... this was a question, but I don't think I have to ask anymore. Right. There's no way he turns into the head coach next year.
I think that I'm a big conspiracy guy. And I think
Let me hear it.
I think that you should deep dive into that more. Okay, so...
Let's do it.
On the coaching staff currently, after Frank Reich was fired, John Fox a defensive like associate, like he's an associate with on the coaching staff. John Fox used to coach for the Bears. He was the head coach for the Bears. So that's one guy that could be an interim head coach and no one would have said anything. You also have Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley used to be a head coach in this league. That's another guy that if you would have made him the interim head coach, no one would have said anything. And then Bubba Ventrone, our special teams coach, he's always a candidate to be a head coach just about every year. He's not gotten a job yet, but the hopes and the thinking is in the next 5 years he will get a job. So that's 3 guys that if you would have just made the interim head coach, nobody would have said anything to you. It had just been swept right on the rug. You'd have just kept on moving, right? So it makes you question, well, why didn't he pick those 3? And I feel like it's so easy to just be like, oh, Jim Irsay's just off of doing what he does.
Let's be honest, off of Perk 30.
Just off the drugs, drinking, and fair. But my biggest thing is, with everything that is going on, it makes you ask, why? Why would he do that? Why would you make the decisions that you're making? And my biggest thing is, why would you then bring in a coach that's basically never coached before? And if you were going to do that, you also have Reggie Wayne on the coaching staff. So why wouldn't you give Reggie the chance or the opportunity to do the same thing that you're basically giving to Jeff Saturday? Why? And the only thing that I could come up with and make sense of is that he probably doesn't trust anybody. I don't think Jim trusts any of the coaches. I don't think he trusts Ballard and what he has going on. I don't even think he trusts the players as of right now. So I think Jim brought in someone who is just a complete outsource, completely is connected to the situation and cares about the Colts winning, but has no ties to anyone that is still in the organization. I think he brought somebody in knowing that we're about to tank, so we're probably going to do bad, and he's going to be fired anyway. But I think he brought somebody in that's just like, hey, yo, I know they're saying one thing, but I need you to tell me the truth. Like, I think he brought somebody in solely to tell him the truth about guys on the team in the direction in which we are going. Yes, Jeff has a good amount of energy. Yes, he knows a lot about football. Could we be wrong and he's just the best coach for the job? Absolutely. But with it being said, Jeff Saturday is an old friend who knows how to play the game right and knows when he sees bullshit. So my biggest thing is, why would you bring in specifically Jeff? And I feel like it is because he trusts Jeff, he knows Jeff, and he knows Jeff isn't going to lie to him. In 2 to 3 weeks, if you see the Colts start really firing people, then I think my point was right. I think my point was right. I think that this is a look over here while we're secretly doing something over here. Like, it's we brought in this guy, and I know the media is going to talk all about this. But secretly, this is what I want you to do. I want you to sit and tell me where the bad apples are so I can get these motherfuckers up out of here. That's just me personally. I think that's
Jeff Saturday is like a
he's
spy.
He's a double agent.
Yeah.
He's a double agent. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like,
wow. But that would mean I'm sorry to interrupt you because you're going crazy right now.
Right.
But that would be one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the league, probably the most, if we had an owner who was not trusting anybody that he decided to bring into his organization.
Right. But what
the hell?
What if he is ready to clean house and he's just not sure? Like, Jeff could also be coming in and being like, wait a minute, Jim. He's cool. You can keep him. You can sign him. He just needs someone he can trust. It's not necessarily
to feel it out.
And it doesn't have to be negative. Like, it can be a positive thing as well. But I know that he don't really trust Chris right now. He don't really trust any of the other coaches on the coaching staff, or they would have been the interim head coach. He doesn't like the players and stuff. He don't know. Like, he just doesn't know for real. Like, you don't know. So what would you do if I bring Peyton in? Now I really look crazy.
Well, Peyton's
but just think about that. Okay. He bring Peyton in, he really looks crazy now.
Why crazier?
Because
He looks crazy now.
Because you literally just brought in your legendary quarterback. You know he don't know shit on shit. Like, you feel me? You brought in Jeff, and I feel like
one of the most cerebral quarterbacks of NFL.
Understandable, but so we're gonna throw our playbook out 8 weeks into the season, and now we're gonna just do something different. That was at least the beauty of bringing Jeff in. It's not like he has like a whole different system that he's gonna bring in. For the most part, Jeff is just gonna tool up the offensive line. The offensive coordinator is a coach that was already on the. Peyton wouldn't have done that. The offensive coordinator would have fucked around and been Eli. Like, you know what I mean? So it would have been a whole totally different thing. So you couldn't have done that. Like, it had to be
all the
like
problems
Jeff.
That people are thinking with Jeff Saturday would have been skyrocketed. Okay, fair
because
enough.
And then it's
fair
like
enough.
We're not even tanking now. Peyton Manning's our head coach with like an Eli Manning as your offensive coordinator. You absolutely got to start winning. Like, you absolutely. So now we're 3-5-1 with this. Now if Jim was like, okay, we're gonna bring the season in, and we bring the season in, we'll move Jeff down and he'll coach the offensive line, and then we'll bring Peyton in. That's different because you're starting the season off like that. You feel me? He gets to pick. He gets to help pick in the draft. He formulates a playbook. He gets everything together. You don't bring a offensive mind in 9 weeks into the season and say figure it out. That's not how that works. Like, it's just so that's why it was Jeff Saturday. It was a guy that's not finna change up your playbook majorly. He's just finna bring energy to your team. Like,
so, and then I like that conspiracy theory a lot.
I'm almost positive that's what's going on.
I like that.
I'm almost positive.
Like you said, if a couple weeks, Chris Ballard's gone, certain people are gone, certain people stay.
Remember, you heard it here first.
Remember, you heard it here first. Garrett's Football Show, episode 10 with him.
Use your third eye. I'm almost positive. Like, what else could it really be?
And thinking about it deeper, that's the type of stuff. Yeah, that's the type of analysis I need on my show.
Yeah. Amen. We do a lot of sports stuff on my end, but let's. We still talking about the Colts?
No, honestly, I was just sitting here thinking, like, we figured out that the Colts are tanking. We figured out that we are having an owner who trusts no one in the organization.
Absolutely.
And brought in a double agent to tell him the information that we need to know about the team. And we know that the Colts are going to probably either look one way or another. The Colts are gonna look a lot different, and it's because at this moment Jim Irsay is saying, "I'm the captain of this ship. Y'all are doing what I say, and we're gonna see who's acting right in here."
Well, if I'm Jim Irsay, who is the one guy in the whole organization that can say, "Hey, I've been to multiple Super Bowls." Well, as an owner, Jim Irsay's been to 2 different Super Bowls. He's won one. Like, who are we to tell him he doesn't know what he's doing?
And it's funny it's funny to hear you say that, because I wrote this in my notes about during the press conference. The biggest thing that Jim was saying was, I know how to make he said multiple times, "We're not building rockets. I don't know how to make sausage, but I know how to make a damn football team." He just kept saying, whatever y'all think, I know that I know how to make a football team. And
Jim is probably embarrassed because he allowed 2 people in Chris Ballard and Frank Reich to kind of do their thing and do whatever it is they wanted to, and this has been the product for the last 5 or 6 years. Jim is probably like, okay, I
just wasted 5 years of my freaking life trying to beat.
Come on, bro. We about to tighten up. We didn't got beat by the Titans 3 years in a row, bro. Like, we're tired of watching this. Like, I get it, because in the press conference, He came off as a dickhead, but like...
He came off as a dickhead. He came off like he was not rambling. He came off like he was dodging questions.
But bro, if you feel like you know what you talking about and you know what you got going on, bro, how are you gonna come off? Like, how are you gonna come off? Like, there's no polite way to go about this. We losing. We 3-5-1. I had to fire the coach on the phone. Like, you feel me? The GM sitting next to me, he wanted a different head coach, but I don't even trust what... Come on, bro. Like, you feel me? How you think it's gonna play out? It's gonna play out exactly how it is right now. Jeff Saturday is a double agent, bro.
I agree. Honestly, I'm gonna think about this more off air, but just at the moment with everything, I wasn't thinking that at all, honestly. But I agree on it. I agree. I didn't give Jim Irsay enough credit.
I think he's a little smarter than what everybody else thinks. You don't become a multi-billionaire by just being a dumbass and just doing drugs, bro. He's a little smarter than what you think, but we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I have nothing else I want to say on the Colts after that. I mean, I think I covered everything I want. You anything else you want to say on the Colts?
They scored 12 points a game. It's not much to talk about.
Yeah. I was going to throw out my notes. I'm going to throw out the Colts schedule for the rest of this. Who cares? Let's go to, Steelers. We just had our bye week. The only thing I have to say for Steelers, I'm saving it for the next week. We had a bye. Bad loss to the Eagles. Najee looks terrible. Tomlin says he refuses to get rid of Matt Canada. That's scary. We may have to have a full Steelers conversation if he's not going to get rid of Matt Canada.
Who's Matt Canada?
Our offensive coordinator, who's terrible right now.
Y'all stink off.
Yeah, TJ is coming back. It seems like he's coming back this year, but who cares?
I say TJ.
I would too. I agree with that. I don't want to talk about the Steelers this week. I can't do it. It's a lot to be.
We gotta still talk about the Steelers. We still gotta.
Okay, we can.
You still gotta address the retooling of teams. It's bad. Okay.
The Steelers are completely different from the Colts because we should be better. Kenny Pickett is I think Kenny Pickett is our quarterback. I think we have the same things I think about the Steelers. Like, we are further than the Colts. I like to hear your analysis. So I like Kenny.
I like Kenny, and I really, really like your defense. I don't necessarily like the weapons that you guys have, and you guys are old. Like, not old, but you play old. Like the way that you guys offensively. It's still like
you're about to make me get into a conversation I don't want to have.
Formation.
And what's the reason we're playing like that? Is it Tomlin?
I don't think it's Tomlin.
Okay.
I don't think it's Tomlin. I think that he gets in his own way in decision making. I
think he does too.
You gotta understand. You gotta keep things new and fresh.
I gotta whisper whenever I say something bad about Tomlin.
Yeah, you gotta keep things new and fresh, bro. That's how you stay young, bro. Tomlin has to go get a college offensive coordinator and bring him in and groom Kenny Pickett.
And Tomlin's, and people lie all the time. Frank Reich, Jim Irsay said that Frank Reich and old dude were safe, and Matt Ryan were safe, and look what happened. But Mike Tomlin says that he's not firing Matt Canada, and I don't know how much you know about the Steelers, but I hope that's not true. But Mike Tomlin seems like the type where he says some shit and he's not lying.
They're like top 5 worst scoring teams in the league. He's probably gonna get fired.
I hope so. Please fire Matt Canada. And I guess, and the Steelers, I don't know.
And then another thing, what is Mike Tomlin saying that he's not going to get fired? You are the head coach. There is a GM above you, and then there's an owner above you. So there's 2 different people that can make a decision that you have no parts of. So what is, just him saying he's not going to get fired, yeah, he surely could get fired for sure.
And then that's going to be a big positive immediately, but back to just Kenny Pickett. So because at the NFL, the way it is today, this season is. Let me not even start a whole other conversation, but Kenny Pickett, it's the NFL's about quarterback. Do you have the quarterback that's going to get you to the Super Bowl or not? Right. I think Kenny Pickett. I think he is. I think he has all the intangibles. Some of the stuff that he needs to be watered, to use but those intangibles, that plant that you get where it's like you're either a ficus or you're a sunflower or you're a cactus. Right. He has the whatever you want to call it to where I think mindset, scale wise, ability, he could be a franchise QB.
I think it's really hard to judge Kenny right now because he doesn't have a good offensive coordinator. The scheme sucks. So
and he does, and this is why I think it. Well, actually, let me. I'm gonna let you flow.
I think the scheme sucks, and it's the same thing with Justin Fields. The switch from Justin Fields beginning of the season to the last 3 weeks, Justin Fields has looked a lot better over the course of the last couple of weeks. Why? Because they have made it apparent. Hey, we're going to put the playbook around your skill sets, and I just don't think it's made it there for Kenny Pickett. But with it being said, you started the season off with Mitch Trubisky as your starting quarterback. Yeah. So you didn't even start the season off with the intentions to make everything about Kenny Pickett. So that in itself has to happen, and then you're probably going to have to bring in a guy that is just better QB guru, somebody better just at tooling Kenny and making him a better product on the field. You said Matt Canada? Yeah, he's not doing it. He ain't doing it.
And before we can really have a clear assessment on Pickett, we got to get him. As you're saying, we got to get him even a chance. He doesn't even have a chance.
You got him a chance, and I think you got to retool up some stuff. I love Najee. I really do. I think he's done.
I think he is too.
It happens. The running back position is the most expendable position in the NFL, at least. Really, in college football too. You got to think, at the running back position. If you're a running back, you probably been a running back since middle school. So you've been getting hit since 6th, 7th grade, yo. Like it's a lot. 6th, 7th grade, all of high school, all of college, and you got to stay for 3 years to go to the NFL. So we're talking about 10, almost 15 years of collision. Like it's just a lot. You're not gonna make it that long. And Najee's kind of tall for the position too.
And it seems like there's something mental there with his decision when he runs.
Well, yeah, it's something mental there because you're always hurt, so you don't want to really feel that twinging like that. Yeah. That is a real thing. You hurt yourself. Yeah. It's like a 2-second where you really feel the injury, and you avoid that at all costs. So yeah, he's playing football weird. Because he's trying to avoid something while avoiding people too. Like it's just it's between the ears. It's you know what I mean.
And but the thing about the Steelers, not the thing about the Steelers, but the running back, I can't think of his name right now because I wasn't even planning on talking about him. I should, but the running back that we have is arguably the second, or RB2.
Is it
I can look it up real quick.
It's a kid that went to UK.
Yeah.
It's
But why do you think of his name?
Benny Snell.
I think
it's Benny Snell. It could be somebody in front of Benny.
But whatever the name is, he's honestly looked better than Najee. So I feel like that's something that we can fix up quickly. So I feel like this not quickly to say it like that, but we're not making the playoffs this year. But I still think the Steelers, and that makes me sad. That's why I didn't want to talk about the Steelers because once I give up hope for a season, it's like shit.
Right.
But I think the Steelers. I think the Steelers logically just need to fix a couple things. I guess they're like the Colts, but not nearly as dysfunctional. And I think they're more ready to go than the Colts.
You have a way better coaching staff, which just traditionally, especially in football, if the coaching is better, then it's not that it doesn't matter what the players look like, but you are just going to be more prepared for a game. I think that across the board, you guys have similar talent to us. Like you can cancel you got a guy we can cancel, or we probably can't cancel out TJ Watt. Like so you probably have Uno, and then across the board, every guy that you have we could probably cancel out for.
Probably a chess match between coaches.
So we'd lose the chess match because Mike Tomlin, my bad, is just a better coach. So yeah, I mean. You're in a better situation than we are right now. Y'all probably just need to get a better offensive coordinator.
But I will say this, with the Colts and the Steelers playing on a Monday night game, I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts won. I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers won.
I need to see what the Colts look like first.
Just to get your quick take on this, because I was talking to Camby on my last episode, because I guess Lucas Oil's kind of a hostile environment. What do you think about? Have you ever been to a Colts game? How do you think about it? If I'm wearing a Steelers jersey, what would be the what?
Nobody is saying.
Tight.
They shouldn't. No, it's not hostile to that point. It's not hostile to that point. I mean, for the most part, NFL football is not really like that. That's more college football. College football, you show up into somebody's stadium with the wrong jersey on, you need to be fully prepared. You don't need to get inebriated or be as fucked up as possible. Like, you really need to prepare yourself. You see that video of those? It was a Miami versus Florida State game.
I gotta describe what happened in the video. Maybe I don't know.
I'll show you the video later.
Okay. But
that's a different animal, right?
Okay, fair enough. Mm-hmm. Now I'm done with the Steelers talking. Do you want to say anything else with the Steelers? Yeah.
Y'all traded Chase Claypool.
Yeah, you Bears, you can have that nigga. I mean, shit. I'm trying to stop saying. I'm not gonna use this clip. I'm trying to stop saying.
Y'all get what we saying though.
Yeah.
Y'all get what we saying.
Yeah, keep Chase Claypool. He made a play catch he could have caught for the Bears last week that he missed. But moving on. Let's get to teams to talk about this week now because we've been talking about the Colts for 44 minutes. Like I said, this was going to be a Colts episode. I warned you. But we're just going to, halfway through the season, do the same. We're going to act like this is a new episode 1. What's going to go out for the turn of this season. This has been one of the most competitive seasons. Hasn't been the biggest of quarterback play. Teams are winning in different ways. So now I'm going to just look at the AFC, NFC, and they're both for their playoff pictures. And I'm going to say, looking at this playoff picture, 2 teams that I think are going to be in the AFC championship. Or not in the championship, but 2 teams I see as the best in the AFC right now, and 2 teams I see as the NFC right now. Okay. I'm going to list off the AFC first. Who knows how long this is going to be, but let's just get to it. Bills are number 1. Chiefs are 2nd. Ravens are 3rd. Titans are 4th. Jets are 5th. Miami Dolphins are 6th. And Chargers are 7th. Now we're just going to...
Hold on. You said Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Titans.
Jets 5th. Dolphins 6th. Chargers 7th. Just to take this slowly because I'm listing it off. I'm going to also have it on the screen for you guys to see. It would mean if the playoffs started this week, the Bills would have a first-round bye. Yeah. The Chiefs would play the Chargers in Arrowhead. The Ravens would play the Dolphins in Baltimore, and the Titans would play the Jets in Tennessee. Just looking at the way that goes, my 2 AFC teams that I like right now are the Chiefs. Chiefs because the only reason that I would not say the Bills is because I think the Bills, if you put them in a tough position where they have to put, and Josh Allen just got hurt, but not even that. That's not the reason. The real reason is I don't like them when they have to be very battle tested. I think the Chiefs, them beating the Chiefs is a great win, but I just think they're a team that if they come out, they're prone to come out bad one day and lose. In the playoffs, it's about matchups, and you come out bad and you lose. My second, and the Chiefs don't do that. The Chiefs, they figure out a way to win games, like that Titans game. It's just something about the Chiefs where if it is a close game, I think Patrick Mahomes 9 times out of 10 is going to figure out a way to win, and I don't know if I put that in Josh Allen. No. Okay, my second is the Dolphins.
Wait, hold on. Okay. Because I just said no. I said no very, very fast. I don't think no to that. Okay. I don't think no to that. I think Josh Allen can do that.
Okay. And my second is the Dolphins. And I say the Dolphins just because I think there's always a streaky team. Obviously, logically, the Bills probably would be second. Not probably. The Bills are second. But me, this is just calling it. The Dolphins, I like the Dolphins. They're streaky. Every time Tua plays, they win. They have the best wide receiver in the league right now in Tyreek Hill. Maybe you want to argue with that. Okay, absolutely. I didn't think you would. And Jalen Waddle, they're the best duo. Jalen Waddle is very, 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 very good. You could say A.J. Brown and okay. So the Dolphins are just that team where I think that they're gonna get hot and they're gonna put up a lot of points. And if you can't put up as much points as them, oh well, you're probably gonna lose. Right. So those are my 2 FC teams. That's my little spiel. Floor is yours.
I don't have 2 teams. I have 3 teams as well, just like you do, and they're the same 3 teams. I like the Bills, I like the Chiefs, and I like the Dolphins.
In that order?
It's interesting. I have to see how the season plays out. The thing with the Dolphins is Tua getting the injury and having that concussion, because I think the Dolphins have only lost 2 games. It's either 2 or 3.
It's 2. It's 3.
The problem with that is that they are going to be the wild card seed, so they're going to be the team that has to keep going on the road. If you remember the last time I was on this podcast, I said that in the playoffs, the weather plays a part that most people don't really realize. And the Dolphins, I think, would beat just about every team in the AFC if they got to play in Miami every game. Since they might have to go on the road, I think the Bills or the Chiefs could get them, absolutely. But across the board, with the scheme as well, I don't like majority of teams as much as I like the Dolphins. They get the ball downfield. They have 2 receivers that are bullies. They have a running attack that they get the outside to, a solid offensive line, and then they just added Bradley Chubb to a defense that gives up less than 25 points a game. You added just the Dolphins are very, very good. The problem is Tua got the concussion. They are behind the Bills, and the Bills are the number 1 seed. So they would need, which Josh Allen is hurt right now. So they would need a lot of luck. The Bills would have to basically go on a skid and lose some games. The Dolphins need to be the high seed in their division and make sure that they are at home and not on the road. If they have to go on the road, I don't think that they can play that football in cold weather. They can't play that football in cold weather.
I can agree.
So that's just, but the same thing happened to the Colts for years in the Peyton Manning era. The Colts would throw for 1,000,000 yards, and when we get to the playoffs, we would not have a better record than the Patriots. So we have to always go to Foxborough, and it looked like, you feel me? It would just be snowing, and you can't play that way anymore. Mm-hmm. And it fits into the Patriots style of play. So style of play, as it gets later into the ball game, is going to matter.
Bills later into the season.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be Bills Chiefs, and Bills Chiefs. Flip a coin.
Right.
You know what I mean? Flip a coin is what it is.
That's honestly, I have nothing. Because that's probably.
I like the Jets too. The Jets just don't have the quarterback.
And I was gonna ask about that. Yeah, the Jets being at 5th. You think they're gonna stay there? You think
Jets make the playoffs?
And these are the bubble teams. The Patriots, just so you can see, Patriots, Bengals, Colts. Which one of those bubble teams looks a little dangerous? Looks a little interesting.
If one makes it would be the Bengals. But the problem with the Bengals is their offensive line. Their offensive line didn't retool the way that it needed to. So I think the Chargers are fakers. But with it being said, somebody got to make it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would hope it would be the Bengals. But you're out. Jamar Chase is out. It's a bye week this week. Maybe he comes back next week. The offensive line is terrible, dude.
All right. You got anything else you want to say on AFC, or you want to go to NFC?
AFC wise, who you think wins it?
Chiefs. Just because, like I said, you say it's 50-50 coin toss, and I agree. At the end of the day, it probably is. But even with that coin toss, they say it's like a saying that the head is a little bit. Well, actually not. Pause, and it's 50-50. But I'm just gonna say that coin seems a little bit heavier on the Chiefs side, because I think
just because
if it's the end of the game and the score is close, and I think Patrick Mahomes is more likely to figure out to pull it out than the Bills. Now, this is interesting because I said this on this podcast. I can't think what episode it was or the show. The Bills did beat the Chiefs in that tiebreaker game. So if they play in Buffalo, I mean,
it's not gonna matter.
So you think the location doesn't matter?
Hey, same type of weather. It's not gonna matter.
Then I think Kansas
and Buffalo same type of weather. Bro.
But you think being at home, but okay. All that being said, then even more.
Patrick Mahomes and the boys now.
Then that makes my feeling even more that I got the Chiefs. If it's Bills Chiefs, I think it's literally 52% to 48.
I really hope that I really hope. And this is gonna sound messed up, but I really hope Josh Allen is hurt for a couple weeks and the Bills lose a couple games. So it just makes it more interesting. I hope the Dolphins end up winning the division, just so it's more interesting.
That is interesting.
I think the Dolphins could beat every single team in this division if they play in Miami. I don't know if it's gonna work in the cold. It's not to say it won't, because the reality is, they still score 45 points a game.
The Dolphins not being at home is very big to you.
Yeah. They score 45 points a game, bro. Not every team can just walk in and say, I know we going to score 45. You know what I mean? So, and maybe them playing on the road, even if you cut it in half, that's 23? 23 might get it done. So it's just, I really believe the Chiefs could beat, or not the Chiefs, the Dolphins can beat a lot of teams in the AFC. But let's move on to the NFC, which is
a lot harder to call and a lot weirder.
It's not. It's actually the NFC is laughable this year.
Okay.
But just go ahead.
So same thing we're going to go through. NFC, if the playoffs started right now, Eagles are first, Vikings are second, Seahawks are third, Buccaneers are fourth, Cowboys are fifth, Giants are sixth, 49ers are seventh. That means if the playoffs were to start this week, the Eagles would get a first-round bye. The Vikings would play the 49ers in Minnesota. The Seahawks would play the Giants in Seattle. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would play the Cowboys in Tampa Bay. I'm going to give my two teams, but the thing about the NFC, I'm excited to see what you say because you said it's not hard and it's laughable. I said it is hard. My first NFC team is the Eagles because how can it not be? In the second one, I really don't know who it would be because there's no NFC teams that... It's just weird. Like, all these teams, to me, the way I'm looking at it, and I'm sure you're going to dive deeper into it because that's been something you've been doing all show. Pause. And that's great. But all these teams kind of look like it could be any of them. The Bucs, who knows about the Bucs because they get streaky. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. The Seahawks, I mean, the defense is good. Geno Smith is playing like he's in a perfect system for him where he's able to just be great. Kirk Cousins is, I don't even know, like, he's 7-1, but, I mean, it's Kirk Cousins. I can't trust it. The Giants, Matt Dable, Saquon Barkley, it's so many, the 49, like, every team, it's like, it could be them. I don't know who it could be. If I had to give a second, I'll say my second would probably be the 49ers, just because they got the coach. The only thing the 49ers don't have that scares me is the quarterback. If you're going to put my feet to the fire, and I'm going to put my own feet to the fire because it's my show and I got to stand on my shit, I'm going to say that the two are the Eagles and the 49ers. And you know what? That's insane because if they played in the playoffs today, it wouldn't be the Eagles. Never mind. So scrap all that. So yeah, I got Eagles, 49ers. 49ers, big lowercase on that one. But more to come on that from me every week because the NFC's interesting. Now... I like the AFC. I had my long spiel.
My second favorite team in football. So my favorite team the team I love the most is the Colts, of course. They are not my favorite team currently because they suck. My favorite team in football is the Dolphins. I like the style of play. I like the additions they've made. I like that they're very fun to watch. I like that they get risky with their first round pick. Like, they go get guys. Like, I love all of that.
Yeah.
My second favorite team to watch is the Eagles. I like what the Eagles do. I like how they go about it. The Eagles continuously have a black quarterback that leads them. Like, there's been different decades. Like, it's something to support, especially as a black man. With all that being said, we've named all these teams in the NFC. You've got the Eagles, which... Their quarterback is Jalen Hurts, right? You got the Vikings. Their quarterback is Kirk Cousins. Seahawks. Their quarterback is Geno Smith. Cowboys. Their quarterback is Dak Prescott. Giants. Their quarterback is Daniel Jones. And 49ers. Their quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo. I purposely skipped one team.
I see that.
It is the Buccaneers. Guys. Tom Brady has to play against
You're about to bring us into it completely different. But keep going.
The road he's probably going to have is he's a 4th seed. If the playoffs started today, he would have to play.
He would have to beat Dak Prescott.
He would have to beat Dak Prescott.
And that Cowboys defense. And Micah Parsons coming after him. But continue. I don't want to be annoying. And
he would have to play Dak Prescott.
Okay.
If he were to beat them, which he's going to.
Then it would be Seattle and Giants, whoever you think wins that game.
No, it would actually be the highest seed. They would have to play the Eagles. So the lowest seed plays the highest seed.
You're right, 100%.
Exactly. So I would guess the 4, they would be the lowest seed.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it would be the Eagles. You never know, but I'm guessing. So it would be, the road would essentially be Dak, Jalen Hurts, Jimmy Garoppolo. This isn't going to be the easiest road for Tom Brady to get to the Super Bowl, but it's going to be one of the easiest. You know, how the NFC is set up, and I get it. I get what you're about to say. I get it. I really do. How the NFC is set up, yo. The Buccaneers are about to walk to the Super Bowl. Like, they're going to walk to.
Is a big take.
The Eagles are basically. I don't think they'll be undefeated, but they'll be as close to undefeated as it's been in years. They'll have 1, maybe 2 losses. So it's gonna be a lot of pressure on them. You trust Kirk Cousins in the playoffs in the cold? Do you trust Geno Smith?
No.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Like,
they're the Cowboys.
Let's just be real, but be real though.
That's
really
what I'm saying. The
trust
Cowboys
them.
always figure out a way to mess up. That's what I'm saying.
They're not. Daniel Jones and the Giants.
Saquon Barkley, Daniel
Be
Jones,
for
and
real.
Matt Dable.
He
said
Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones got to go play Tom Brady, though. Like, that matters in the playoffs. Like, in a regular season game, Saquon Barkley, all those other names matter. In the playoffs, it is Daniel Jones versus Tom Brady. Like, that's how it boils down. And you got Jimmy Garoppolo in the 40. They didn't even want to start Jimmy this year. Like, if I'm wrong, make this a snippet, put it all over your page. But bro,
I mean,
like,
if it's right, I'm gonna make it a snippet and put it all over my page because I mean, this is gonna be a snippet for that time of probably.
The Bucks are like four. The Bucks are
4 and 5.
They are 4 and 5, and they're the 4th seed in the NFC. That lets you know everything that you need to know. The most experienced majority of the guys that I just named have hardly been in the playoffs. Geno basically hadn't played for the last 7 years. I think Dak Prescott has been, but has never really won anything important. Daniel Jones has never been to the playoffs. Jimmy has been, but not really won the big game. He's known for losing the big game in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts hasn't been to anything, and Kirk Cousins is known for losing. Like, it just, like, all the good quarterbacks is in the AFC, bro. Like, everybody that is worth a damn at quarterback is in the AFC. And then you just got Tom Brady over here with all these guys that are having solid years.
And it looks like, and I guess I can't believe it. I didn't see it, but it looks like the way that Tom Brady won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers the first time.
Yeah. This is, if the Bucs sit and coast and the AFC beat up each other, do not be surprised if the Buccaneers find a way to win the Super Bowl. It's the reality, bro. The AFC is low. The 17. I wouldn't say that.
It's like the Wolves taking each other out so Tom Brady can get to play with the babies.
The 3 teams that we named, if they were in the NFC, all 3 of them would win the NFC. Like, all 3 of them will win the NFC. But unfortunately, they have to play each other. And that is on top of 17 weeks. Like, the reality is, one of them teams is probably going to come in limping into the Super Bowl. Whereas the Bucs... What if the Eagles go undefeated during the season, and now like they get that bye game, and then they come in after that bye game a little flat? Like, it happened. Things like this happen. Like, it happens all the time, bro. It happens all the time.
I will say, if that happens,
the Eagles haven't necessarily been impressive. They've just been better than every team that they've
that would be great for my takes because I think that's what's going to happen to the. I don't think they're going to defeat it. And I remember even you saying this watching our episode, you were saying that's not how NFL football works, and I agree. But I do think that the Eagles will, I said this and I think it's still, they're going to be the 1 seed and they're going to lose to somebody in the playoffs. And it's going to be like, wow, they didn't have any, and I think it's because mainly, I still think this, and I thought this earlier, they play no one.
Yes, that is why they're going to lose. This is an exact point that I'm stuck on as well. You can't play a cupcake schedule and think that you're going to win it all. It just doesn't work that way. Like, you have to be battle tested. And I don't think the Eagles have played. And it's not the Eagles' fault. You got to play the schedule that's given to you. Like, it's not their fault. It was some teams that they thought was going to be good that weren't. It's not their fault. But with it being said, bro, the NFC is not. Like, let's go through it, bro. Past the Eagles. Who are you scared of? The Vikings? You're not scared of the Vikings. We got guard Double J, and that's really it. Like, you feel me? Seahawks.
There's a team, and I'm waiting for you to name them.
Cowboys, Micah Parsons, fair. Past Micah, what we scared of? Like, past Micah, what are we actually scared of?
I'm kind of like, ooh, frightful of them. That's not the team I was thinking.
Scared,
yeah, that's not the team. That's not the team I was thinking.
I can name
the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, George Kittle.
That's interesting.
Bosa, you know he already don't like black people. He's going, so you know he comes into every game a little spicier.
That's interesting, but I think that
it is literally Jimmy Garoppolo. If Tom Brady was on the 49ers, they would be better than the Eagles.
It's what you just said. It's Jimmy G is that's Tom Brady little homie. There is like, you feel me? He's got
He got mind priority over him.
He got mind control over
he got mind control over him.
That's little bro. Like, you had to sit behind me and see how I did shit. Like, you feel me? It's just and us explaining in a podcast, there's no real logic behind what we're saying. But historically and how the game is played, this is the reality, bro. Jimmy G not gonna be like these guys are not about to beat Tom Brady. Like, if they come in and they're playing like how they're playing right now, scratch everything I said. Yeah, they'll get beat by anyone. But I'm expecting them to hit some type of stride late, like they do every year.
And like they did the year they won the Super Bowl.
They're going to hit a stride late. Their defense is going to start to look better. Tom Brady's going to start to put the ball with some zip. And randomly, Leonard Fournette's going to be running for 100 yards every single game. Like, once that hits stride, any of these teams could get beat by the Bucs in the NFC. And I think that everyone in the AFC is just going to limp into – whoever comes is going to limp into the Super Bowl.
I'm going to say – whoever comes in the NFC is going to limp in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
No, into the AFC.
Yeah.
I think it's Bucs versus whoever.
Bucs versus whoever.
If I had to definitively...
Put your feet to the fire.
Bucs, Chiefs. And if it's Bucs, Chiefs are going to get them this time. But if it's Bucs, anyone else, I think the Bucs can get them. Bucs, Dolphins, I don't like the Tua versus Tom Brady matchup.
I'm going to say... I like the 49. Go.
I was going to just say Tom Brady's good at keeping motherfuckers off the field. So, I don't like that matchup for nobody not named Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen, that he lose his first Super Bowl against Tom Brady, that would suck. Tua's going to lose that motherfucker.
Yeah, Tua probably will.
The only person that is like knows what to do and is ready for that type of energy is
Patty.
Come on, man. Like, Chiefs Bucs, and it sounds weird because the Bucs are not playing very well right now. But yo, this is what they do.
It sounds weird, but it sounds very possible. I like that take. I'm gonna stick with my Eagles 49ers. I'm a little bit 49ers. I think have a better chance of matchups. Even though that was the team I was holding my feet to the fire for 5 minutes ago, but I am more confident, I think, in the 49ers. The Eagles just have a lot of ways to win, but I love that take actually. And as far as storylines, it's actually perfect.
Narrative is gonna fit perfectly. If it weren't the Bucs,
if
it weren't the Bucs, I'm gonna be honest with you. If it weren't the Bucs, I would say Eagles just because they, like you said, they have so many different ways to win. But to be honest, just collectively for yourself, go and look at the NFC and tell me who would honestly win the Super Bowl out of the NFC. 49ers, sure, but at the same time, if they win this year, then why haven't they won all these other years? Like, what have you been missing? I think that Kyle Shanahan, or it's not Kyle, but it's one of the Shanahans. I think that when he gets into that situation and the lights are brightest, I think he's at his worst. I'm just be honest with you. Some of the play calling, you be questioning this shit. Same thing with Jimmy G. Question his decision making and things that he does when the lights are at his brightest. I like the addition of Christian McCaffrey. I really do. I think this is going to help them tremendously. But with it being said, it's just like him and Debo. You got two injury-prone type of style of guys that are going to be running the football, bro. Like, either of them go down, now none of this made any type of sense. Like, you're preying on the health of two guys that are injury-prone.
This is true. All right, wow. I have nothing else to say. NFC, do you?
Yeah, I think the Bucs are coming up.
I think I'm gonna go. That was a great point. I'm staying Eagles 49ers, but as the weeks change, it's gonna be fun to look at the Bucs. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I was just looking at the Bucs, like talking about who do I think is gonna have a better rest of the season, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. Now that's not even a question that's fun to talk about anymore because Aaron Rodgers looks dead and Tom Brady, I could see him coming back. But it's just crazy how things change in a couple weeks.
Aaron Rodgers fuck around being on the Colts next year.
I don't want him. Aaron Rodgers is
crazy.
I wasn't even going to plan on talking about Aaron Rodgers, but he's a dickhead.
He is a dickhead, and Aaron Rodgers is like, by talent, he's probably the greatest quarterback ever. But I also don't want him. I'm tired. He is by talent. He is.
No, he's not.
By talent, he is. Who's more talented than Aaron Rodgers? I get it. You don't like him. Get past the biases. Who's more talented than Aaron Rodgers?
I'm going to throw a quarterback out there because my friend Terrence, I'm going to send this specific clip to him because if you start arguing with me, he's going to be on my top. And you know a lot about football, so I'm going to be scared to debate this with you, but I don't want you to disagree with me. I don't know why you would. Uh-huh. I think Lamar Jackson is more talented than Aaron Rodgers.
At the quarterback position?
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate the argument because I feel like Lamar is kind of like the representation of the black quarterback right now. So I don't want to demean him at all, but with it being said, if I had to win one game, and you were like, and are we talking prime? And you said you were going to take prime Lamar Jackson, which you don't even know what that is.
Exactly.
Like, you don't even know what that is. You could be right. It could be a whole better version, but it could be Lamar of 2 years ago. So you don't even know what that is. I can tell you definitively what prime Aaron Rodgers is. If you're making that decision and you said, I'm going to take Lamar over Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You gotta. I mean, just one thing.
Dang, I want to get into this conversation. We've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes. Ooh, this is what I need to do. I need to do a Garrett's football show every week, and then I need to have a Garrett's football show B-cuts. Because, damn, I could talk about this for another 30 minutes. I'm going to stop myself. I'm the host. I told you, I say all the time, this show is supposed to be a 30-minute show. It never is.
Nope, hour 10.
We'll save. I wholeheartedly. I'll just make it clear. I wholeheartedly disagree. Terrence, I'm trying not to cuss on this show as much, so I won't say what I'm thinking.
I got one more question.
All right, part 2. This has happened a couple times on GFS. Technical difficulties, but we were talking about just Lamar and Aaron Rodgers. We got to get past that, but I think there was a question you wanted to ask. If you wanted to ask it quickly, if not, it's fine.
Top ball game. Down 4.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
Down 4.
Aaron Rodgers.
Never mind that. I didn't even get to ask the question.
Was that the question? Okay,
no.
ask. Okay, oh, my bad.
Down 4 on the 50-yard line with 4 seconds left. Who you want? Lamar Jackson or
Aaron Rodgers. Down 4 with that many seconds left, yeah.
And it's just like, I get it. I really do. I get he's probably the most talented football player to play the quarterback position, but he's not the most talented quarterback ever. No, sir, no. That's strictly Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, the
Peyton Manning. I think Peyton Manning. I just threw Aaron Rodgers out there. I mean, I just threw Lamar Jackson out there because that was the easy one. I think not the easy one, but I think Peyton Manning is more talented than Aaron Rodgers, and
he didn't have the arm that Aaron had. He didn't have the arm that. I'll give you a guy that might have been more talented. It was Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was probably the most talented quarterback I had ever seen. I still probably give Aaron Rodgers the nudge. But Andrew Luck also ran a 4.6. Like, you know what I mean? When he had to get out of the pocket, he could threw one of the prettiest balls ever. Like,
we can talk about this.
But just think about that. You taking Lamar Jackson over Andrew Luck?
No.
Okay. So. Like, you feel me? Just
predictions for week 10.
Yeah.
Man, this was a great episode of GFS. I'm excited myself. I mean, at the end of the show, I just start doing and say whatever I want. Because if you're watching an hour and 13 and you're the real fans, at this point, man, I can't wait to watch this over again. There's some great stuff in this episode, but let's wrap it up with predictions. The Thursday night game is tonight, and it is
Thursday.
Yeah, the Thursday night game is tonight. It's Falcons at Panthers. I got Falcons. Who do you got? It is a stinker.
It's a stinker.
Shout out Jeff Bezos.
Damn. Who do I have? Jesus Christ. Marcus Mariota versus Baker Mayfield. If it was a college football game, it would be a pretty good game. Fucking, I have the Falcons, I guess.
Seahawks at Buccaneers. I didn't put this one yet because I didn't know because this game is weird to me. I got shit. I got the Seahawks. Golly, watch Tom Brady go crazy. Who do you got?
The Bucks.
Yeah,
the Bucks.
I know.
The reason why I have the Bucks is because it's the 9:30 London game. So it's gonna be a weird game. So I'm taking Tom.
I'm switching. Yeah, I'm taking Tom too. Actually, I'm not voting against Tom Brady. I'm taking. Yeah, never mind. Vikings at Bills. If Josh Allen doesn't play, I got Vikings. If Josh Allen plays, I got Bills.
I just looked on there, especially with the line that it has as well. It looks like Josh Allen is going to play.
Then I got Bills. Lions at Bears. I got Bears.
Lions at Bears. You have the Bears. I have. Ooh.
Go Lions. I know you want to put it.
I do, but I don't.
And the Lions are. I want to. Hey, go Lions.
Yeah, I'm going Lions, actually.
Jags at Chiefs. I got Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Browns at Dolphins. I got Dolphins.
Browns at Dolphins. I have the Dolphins.
Texans at Giants. I got the Giants.
Texans at Giants.
Saints at Steelers. I don't even need to say it. I have the Steelers.
Saints at Steelers. I have the Steelers.
Surprise, okay. Steelers respect. Broncos at Titans. I put the Broncos. I must have been tripping or something under the influence of something when I did that. I chose the Broncos. I got the Titans.
I like the energy. Well, we always love to see a Titans loss, but I'm gonna go ahead and write Titans on it.
Yeah, I got Titans too. Colts at Raiders. I got Colts because that's how it goes on the show. I'm not betting against them.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Raiders. They better not win. They better fucking not win.
Cowboys at Packers. I got Cowboys, but I feel like
nope.
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah. Cardinals. Nope. Don't even try. Cardinals at Rams. This is an interesting game.
Very interesting.
I put Rams, but I'm gonna switch that again and say Cardinals. Another switch in the middle of the show. I don't think the Rams are just so weird.
I think something's wrong with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
I'm going Cardinals. It's gonna be the weirdest game possible. You're gonna see 40 first downs and 12 points.
Type shit.
It's so weird watching both of those teams play.
Chargers at 49ers. I have 49ers.
49ers.
And the Monday night game, Commanders at Eagles. I got Eagles.
Commanders at Eagles.
Terry and them boys. Shout out to biggest shout. I meant to do this. Biggest shout out to Terry. He came in and absolutely disrespected and embarrassed the Colts.
Yeah. And
also at the same time putting on in the city in the most amazing and great way. I don't see how you could do that all at once.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
It's gonna sound ignorant, but it's just how I feel. If he was putting on for the city, he would have dropped that pass. That's just my thought.
All right, that's
my
fair.
piece. I'm gonna leave it at that.
That's that. That's one way of looking at it.
I got the Eagles.
But Eagles definitely. But
he'd have dropped that pass if he was for the city and he really loved the Colts. He'd have dropped that bitch.
Think about that next time we play the Colts, Terry. If you see Garrett's football show.
Nah, don't drop it. Get that money, cuz. Get that money. I'm just bullshit.
Shit, that was probably one of the longest episodes of Garrett's football show, but probably one of the most exciting. Every week from now on, it's going to just be getting better in the football talk, better in the analysis. The guests are going to just continue to give great talks. I'm going to continue to give great talks. If you watched any part of this, thank you. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll put those names in the bottom. You have anything you want to say?
No, it was a good show, man.
I hope to have Aaron back on again 1,000%. That's Garrett's Football Show, episode 10. That's a wrap.